Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nite Namani Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarini Jayo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So welcome you all to the Sadachar classes from ISKCON Mangalore. So last class we are actually covering the Dashavatars, right? So to do a recap, and then last class we covered Kurma Avatar, yeah. So Kurma Avatar we spoke, and then we covered that topic. Today we'll go with the third incarnation. But yes, for the Kurma Avatar, right? Last time, yeah. So I think I didn't mention that there is a temple also, right? For this Kurma Avatar, right? It is in Andhra Pradesh, yeah. So it is there in Srikakulam. So the place is called Sri Kurma. Okay. So there we have the deity of Kurma Avatar. If you go in that temple, right, it's a very ancient and old temple. So in that temple, right, so once you go into the and in the temple, right, you can see that shape of the Lord. Yeah. So that it's from Visakhapatnam. It's a drive of 2 hours. Yeah. So then you can go to that place. That place has significance because even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started this journey for South India from that location itself. Yeah, so that has got significance also. So and then he did deliver uh, the Brahmana, right, who had leprosy. So that's the place. Yeah. So there is a temple which is very ancient, and people say that it's Lord Brahma who actually created that temple at that time. But yeah, so that's the legacy of the temple. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, whenever you go to Visakhapatnam, then you have two things to cover. Yeah. So one thing is you can cover the Narsimha Dev also. Yeah. So in Simachalam there is a place. So wherein so you can cover that, and then this is the other place. So Kurma Kshetra is the place where Sri Kurma, where you can go and then see the form of the deity. And outside the temple, right? So there will be a lot of tortoise. So you can find. So those are preserved though. So you'll be seeing a lot of tortoise which are there in that place. Yeah. Yeah. So that's something about Sri Kurma. Okay. Okay. Today we'll actually be looking at another avatar of the Lord. Yeah. So this is called Lord Varaha. Yeah. Anyone has any information what about Lord Vara? Any ideas? Anything? So you know about Lord Vara? So you all can
I just,
contribute. Or go ahead,
I,
Mata.
yeah, Prabhuji, I just know that he was a dwarf, uh, the short guy, the dwarf or something. Is that so?
No, no, Mata. This is Varaha. So you are
Okay.
talking about Vamana.
Oh, Vaman, correct, correct. Sorry, then I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone? Rajlakshmi Mata, you want to give a try?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, the Lord took the form of Varaha to kill demon Hiranyaksha.
Yeah, correct.
So he came from the nostril of no. That is Varaha only, no, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Correct.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Mataji. You gave some more pointers. So yeah, Kirtan Sai Prabhu, you want to add something? Okay, he says that his bandwidth
Hare
is
Krishna
low.
Prabhu.
Okay, we have Adidev Gopeshadas. Prabhu, you can actually tell everything, right? Anyhow, go ahead. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
He came to lift Mother Earth
Yes,
from
Prabhu.
the Garbhodakshaya ocean.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Lift, he like placed back Mother Earth from the Garbhodakshaya ocean.
Correct, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay,
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Anything
Please
else?
forgive my body.
Any other participant wants to add anything? Okay, no problem. So we'll go through. Okay. So Varadev is nothing but an incarnation of the Lord in the form of a hog or a pig. Okay. So there is a history behind. So we'll go through, right? So like as Adidev Prabhu said, right? So he gave some pointers, and then Mataji said some points, right? So all those things are correct. Yeah. So we'll go through this particular form, okay, of the Lord. So this was basically the starting of the millennium. Okay. So because we have different Manus, right? So in that, the current Manu, right? So the starting of that is this incarnation. Yeah. So basically, all these things are again from the Bhagavatam. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3. Okay, so there we have all these information. Okay, so in here, right? So the Lord takes the form of a pig. Yeah, so it's not like any other pigs which we see in, right? So in the materialistic world, right? So we see pig to be very inauspicious, and then it is um, so it is actually found in a filthy place, right? So that's the reason, so we have our materialistic vision in that way. But here, right, this is a transcendental pastime of the Lord, right? And the Lord incarnates in the form of different forms, right? So first class we saw in the form of Matsya, and then he took the form of Kurma, and now in the form of Vara. So he takes the form, and then these are transcendental. So it's not that say we worship the Lord, though he's in the form of any of the form, right? So because those are transcendental, and then those are not related to our material vision. Yeah. So in here also, right, it is said that so he had the form of a pig with tusks. Okay, and then the other portion of the body was like a human body. Yeah. So that's the form which the Lord has taken. Yeah. And so we'll go through the little bit of history. Yeah. So actually say why these things had occurred. Yeah. Okay, I got some message though. Whose message is that? Melinda Mataji, are able to hear now? Hope I'm audible, right? Prabhujis and Matajis. Okay, she got dropped off. Okay. Okay. So probably she had a bad network. Okay. So it goes in like that. So wherein Lord Brahma, right? So when he did create the universe, right? And so at the beginning, right, he wanted actually to um, to generate the progeny, right? So he created different sons. Okay, so and among them, right? So there were like the four Kumaras. So and if you read the Bhagavatam, right, it gives different descriptions like from Brahma's mind, these four Kumaras were born, and then there were other things. Yeah, so like um, so what happened is the four Kumaras didn't agree to actually uh, increase the population. Yeah, so they actually they said that they'll not do that process. Rather, they'll be brahmacharis. Okay, and then they curse themselves, saying that they'll be and the brahmacharis, and then their age, right, always would be their body and shapes would be of a 5-year boys. That's it. Yeah, and then they didn't actually obey the instructions of actually increasing the population. Okay, and then Manu came in. Okay, and then he agreed. Okay, so Manu said that okay, say he was ready to actually populate. So he obeyed the instructions of Lord Brahma, who is nothing but his father. And then he said that okay, he'll actually populate the generation, the population. Yeah. So progeny would be generated. So he asked, tell me a place where I can actually create those living entities. Yeah. So then actually Lord Brahma looks at the earth. Okay. By then the earth is actually submerged in the Garbhodaksha ocean. Okay. So at that time, right? So Lord Brahma actually prays to Lord Vishnu. So and then he says that you'll only have to rescue Mother Earth, who is actually who has far because right? So there are different planetary systems, right? So in the universe, right? So Earth, Bhuloka is in between, right? So from that sphere, the Earth got trembled and it fell down. Okay, and then it was in the underneath the Garbhodaksha ocean. So, so Lord Brahma was actually praying to Lord Vishnu because uh, Lord Vishnu is the ultimate, right? So he is the cause of all causes, right? So he is the one who can do this job, and then Brahma knew that. Okay, so that is the introduction of Lord Vara. Okay. So what happens is while he was meditating and then while he was praying to the Lord, right, from the nose of Brahma, from the nostrils of Brahma, a small creature, a pig-like creature popped up. Yeah, it was of the thumb size. Okay, so even Brahma was surprised. So what is this thing which has come from my nostrils? Yeah. It so happened that that particular um, form of a small pig, right? It actually increased its size. Okay. And then it grew to the size of an elephant. Okay. So that's the appearance of Lord Varadev. Yeah. So we'll just go through the slide decks, what are there, and then we'll again continue with the next section. Yeah. We'll just see if we are missing anything. Yeah, this is what so these are the questions which have been asked. Okay, say Sri Sukadev Goswami said, "O king, after hearing all these most virtuous topics from the sage Maitreya, Vidura inquired further on the topics of Supreme Personality of Godhead, which he adored to hear." So, this is a conversation between Vidura and Maitreya Muni. So, this is what the question Vidura is asking. "O great sage, what did Swayambhuva, the dear son of Brahma, do after obtaining his very loving wife?" Yeah. So this is the question. So whatever we discussed, right? So, O best of virtuous, the original king of kings, Manu was a great devotee of personality of Godhead Hari, and thus it is worth hearing of his sublime character activities. Please describe them. I am very eager to hear. So Bhagavatam is again all question and answer. Yeah. So similar to Bhagavad Gita, right? So Sukadev Goswami said, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna was pleased to place his lotus feet on the lap of Vidura because Vidura was very meek and gentle. The sage Maitreya was very pleased with the words Vidura, and being influenced by his spirit, he attempted to speak. So this is in the past. So when Lord Krishna has visited Vidura's palace, right? So at that time, so while sleeping and all, right? So he had placed his lotus feet on his lap, and all those pastimes were being discussed. Okay. So, O king, if you can give proper protection to the living beings in the material world, that will be the best service for me. When the Supreme Lord sees to you to be a good protector of conditioned soul, certainly the master of the senses will be very pleased. Okay. This is all the conversation which is happening. Okay. So thus seeing, so here, so we just discussed in, right? So Brahma saw that the earth is submerged in water. Okay. So as the earth is submerged in water, right? So Brahma actually gave attention to lift her. Okay. And yeah. So now can someone read? Milina Mataji, you want to read this?
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
When the demon Hiranyaksha hit the earth, Brahma beseeched Lord Narayan to rescue the earth from the clutches of the demon. A small boar then emerged from Brahma's nostrils and soon assumed gigantic proportions. Uh, you flip the slide.
Okay,
Okay,
sorry Mataji.
no problem. Yeah. The portrayal of the anthropomorphic Varaha is similar to the fourth avatar Narsimha, portrayed as a lion headed man, who is the first avatar of Vishnu that is not completely animal. The Agni Puran describes the Varaha is depicted with the human body and boar head. Hare
Okay.
Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So this is what we discussed in, right? So wherein say all these conversations have happened in, right? So now the Lord has appeared. Okay. So and then post that, right? See, he will actually go and lift the earth. Okay. After that, there will be prayers. The devatas and all, right? So Varadev will actually become more huge, yeah? And then so he'll start roaring. Okay, so with this roar, right? So everything gets very positive vibes, and then say the devatas, Lord Brahma, and all, they'll start praying because by then they understand that this is none other than Lord Vishnu who has come. Yeah. So then what happens is uh, the Lord will actually go, right? So he'll actually um, go into the Garbhodaksha ocean, and then he'll actually search for the Earth planet. Okay, so because he has taken the form of an boar, right? So he can smell, right? So underneath the water, right? So in that filthy place, right? So he can actually go, and then he can actually smell, and then he can find Mother Earth there. Okay, so and then he actually lifts in. Okay, so that's one part. So wherein the Lord will go and then actually pick the Mother Earth. Okay, he searches it and then he puts it on the tusk. Okay, so we'll keep this aside, and then the Lord actually will keep on the tusk, and then he'll try to bring it her up, Mother Earth. Okay, so we'll have to understand the other part of it. Who is this Hiranyaksha? Okay, so we have we have read here, right? So like, and then what made the Mother Earth to actually fall from that planetary system, right? So this is again described in Bhagavatam itself. Okay, so so what happened is, as the four Kumaras were there, right? So the four Kumaras actually were they said that they'll not do the progeny, right? And then the Manu came in, and then the progeny started, yeah. And then there were two sisters called Diti and Aditi. Okay, so who are actually been married to Kashyapa Muni. Okay, Kashyapa Prajapati actually. So what happened is, so the sons who were born of Aditi were known as Adityas. Okay, so who were actually mm, of divine qualities. Okay, and then the sons who were born of Diti, right? So they were of demonic nature. Okay, so what happened is, over the period, right? So the Diti had a strong desire to have children. Okay, so but the problem was, so she actually approached Kashyapa Prajapati at a wrong time. Okay, so even Kashyapa Muni actually told her that this is not the right time to unite, because it was in midnight or somewhere, so the time is not auspicious. So he did mention his wife Diti that look, this is not a good time. So let's wait for some minutes and post that, because that's the time when the ghosts uh, the ghosts are very active. Okay, and then he said that this is not the right time. So let's unite after some time. So it was matter of some minutes. Okay, but the conversation went on, and then Diti was uncontrollable, and then so so they united, and then when say all this episode is finished, right? So then Diti realizes that this is something, a mistake has happened. Yeah? And then she actually goes to Kashyapa Muni, right? And then she says that I know that this was an incorrect thing which has happened. Yeah, and then when um, these there were twins, okay, Hiranyakashyap and Hiranyaksha. So when they were in the womb of the mother, right? So by then only, right? So everything, right? All inauspiciousness were happening. So in the universe, right? So all the signs of inauspiciousness were very active. Okay. And then she knew that, okay, so this is what is going to happen. And then Diti actually uh, kept both these twins in the womb for 100 years. Okay. Because she knew that once this they come out, right? So the universe is going to have tough time. So, but before that, right? So when this incident happened, so then she goes to Kashyapa Muni and then she says that, so what is the next steps? And then she says that, I know that it was a wrong thing, but I want my sons to be protected because she didn't want to be killed. So then Kashyapa Muni says that the sons who will be born, so they will be of demonic mentality. Yeah. And as we are repenting, so there is and they'll be killed by Vishnu. Okay. So he gave that particular boon, saying that so they'll be killed in the hands of Vishnu and the grandson, right, of their grandson. So he'll be the Vishnu devotee. Okay, so who is none other than the Prahlad Maharaj. So he'll be born out of Hiranyakashipu and then he'll be a devotee of Lord. So all these incidents happened. So after 100 years, right? So they couldn't actually be in the womb anymore, and then they came out in the form of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Okay. So if you go back, right? So this is not Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha are nothing but Jai Vijay. Okay. So if we go further back, right? So when the four Kumaras said that they're not interested in progeny and all, right? So they were actually moving around the universes. Okay. And then they did heard from their father that about the Lord Vaikuntha and then the Lord's abode, how does he reside, the place and everything, right? And then they were actually going, they were moving around, and then there are actually 7 gates to Vaikuntha. So they were actually moving, and then what happened is, so nobody stopped them until the 7th gate. Okay, 6 gates were open, and then that was the final gate, and then they were about to see the Lord. So there were 2 gatekeepers named Jay and Vijay. Okay, so they actually obstructed these 4 Kumaras, and then they said that say yeah, they obstructed them, and then they didn't allow him. Okay, so because these 4 Kumaras, right? So they were not being obstructed at any place. So they felt little bit embarrassed, and then they actually cursed. How can in Vaikunta we have people like this who are not allowing us to go, right? So because they were also very pious Brahmanas, right? So they were not allowed. And then Jai Vijay understood that, okay, so uh, there'll be there'll be some heavy punishment, and then they were begging pardon for the 4 Kumaras. In the meanwhile, Lord Vishnu arrives with goddess Lakshmi. Okay, and then so these 4 Kumaras are stunned by looking at the beauty of the Lord, right? So as described, right? So with the garland, the pitambar, clothing, the mukut, everything, right? So with goddess Lakshmi, the bumblebees around the garland. Yeah. So all these things, right, are very well described in Bhagavatam. Okay, so you read. So and Prabhupada has written very nice purports, so you can read them to relish more. Yeah. So the Lord appears, and what happens is the fragrance of the tulsi, right, of the Lord, tulsi leaves, that aroma actually goes to the nostrils of the four Kumaras. And then until then, right, so they were actually Brahmavadi. So they were actually impersonal. So they were actually worshipping the Brahmajyoti. And then with this aroma, right, with this tulsi leaves aroma, right, so they got converted into, uh, the, they changed into their bhakti, right? So they came into the personal form. So then they started feeling repentance, saying that they have unnecessarily cursed Jay and Vijay, but the Lord says that no, it was he took the responsibility, and then the Lord said that they'll have to go punishment. It is something which I desired. Okay, so the Lord, as a Paramatma, desired us. So he'll say that Jay and Vijay say they'll take 3 births as demons, and then they'll fight with me. Okay, and then post that they'll again come back. Okay, so this was the punishment, and the reason was the Lord wanted to have some fighting spirit, right? So like he likes to have different rasas, right? So with we know that with Bhishma Dev, he wanted to have that Veera Rasa, right? Similarly, in this, he actually wanted an opponent for him. Yeah. So Lord himself had created his own opponents in the form of Jai and Vijay. Okay. And then this Jai and Vijay took 3 forms. Okay. Anyone knows? One is this easy. So I've already told.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, the other form was Ravan and Kumkaran.
Prabhu, your voice is too low, Prabhu. We are not able to hear. Probably your headset is not connected or so.
The other was Ravan and Kumkaran.
Yeah, correct, Prabhu. Yes.
And there was one more form.
Yeah.
I think it was Kans.
No, Prabhu.
It was Shishupal and then Pakra.
Correct, Mataji. Very nice. Yeah. So thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji. You made my job easy. So Jai Vijay became Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Yeah. So in Satya Yuga. And then they became Ravana and Kumbhakarna in Treta Yuga, and Shishupal and Dantavakra at the end of Dwapar Yuga. So this is how the Lord actually fought with them in every yuga, right? And then he gave them liberation, right? At the end, say they again went back to the abode, Lord's abode. Okay. So this is the background of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Okay. Yeah. So we'll just see through if anything else is mentioned here. Yeah. So this is same thing. So and the other thing is the Hiranyaksha, right? Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, right? Hiranya means gold. Yeah? Hiranyaksha means golden eyes. Okay. So what does golden eyes mean? That in a negative way. Yeah. So it's not in a positive way. Golden eyes is nothing but wherever he sees, he wants to actually accumulate gold. Okay. And Hiranyakashipu is nothing. Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu means bed. Yeah. Soft bed. So his focus was that. Okay. And then these two brothers were very powerful. Okay. And then even say both were assisting each other. So they were very adamant, rude, and they were creating literally havoc. Yeah? And the reason the Mother Earth fell is due to Hiranyaksha, right? Because Hiranyaksha's ideology is to secure gold, right? And Mother Earth had the largest reservoirs of gold. Okay. And then he depleted it like anything. Yeah. And say the Mother Earth couldn't actually take the pressure, and then she trembled and then fell down. Yeah. So in that way, the Mother Earth had lost her orbit and then she fell down. Yeah. So that was Hiranyaksha who created havoc. Yeah. And then he used to have a maze. Okay. And then what he used to do is he used to go and challenge Devtas, yeah, Indra, everyone, saying that come and fight with me, because he had a lot of powers he obtained. And then he said that he used to challenge for a fight, and then the Devtas were never fighting with him. So because they knew. And then on the other hand, Hiranyakashipu's story, right? So even he was creating havoc, and then he had total control of all the universes. Yeah. And then even if Hiranyakashipu used to look at or make his eyebrows up, right? All the Indraloka, Chandraloka, everything would shiver with fear. So he was so powerful. Yeah, all so, and even the king of heaven, Lord Indra, used to tremble in front of them. Okay, so leave about others. So even his thunderbolt and everything didn't work in, because we know, right? Hiranyakashipu had his own. So he had his boon. So that we'll cover in the other avatar. But yeah, here Hiranyaksha. So he was actually challenging everyone. So he went to Lord Indra also, and then he challenged, saying that, so will you fight with me? So Lord Indra didn't agree for a fight, and then so he actually came down, and then he saw an ocean, yeah, and then to do some sporting, right? He actually swam into the ocean. And then there he found the Varun Dev's palace. And then he went to Varun Dev, and then he said that, sarcastically, he says that, will you are you ready to fight with me? So will you give a battle with me, and then let's fight? So Varun Dev, uh, knowing that those person has got a wrong notion, and then so there is no point in actually going with a battle with him, right? And then he says that, for you the right person would be Lord Vishnu, right? Who can actually who can actually remove all your false prestige and all those things, right? And then he would be the right fit for your strength and all. Okay. So there he goes in, and then he searches for Lord Vishnu. Okay. So he actually goes in, and then he goes into the water. Okay. And then he finds Lord Vara. So Lord Vara, at that time, he is lifting Mother Earth. Okay. And then he is actually amazed by seeing that he's in the form of a boar. But he could see that the boar size is also of his size. Yeah. Huge. And so he started challenging that, I heard that you are the one who actually can fight with me, and then so let's have a fight and all those things he was saying. So Lord Varadev actually initially didn't um, give any response because he was interested. First thing was he wanted to restore the Mother Earth because Mother Earth was frightened. So on his tusks, right? So he was listening to what this guy was telling, right? So he went on with all his name and fame, false glories and all. And so what Varadev says is, oh, you wait here, so we'll have a fight. So, and then he says that as you have challenged, we'll surely have a fight. So, and then what Lord Varadev does is he goes and then puts Mother Earth in her planet. Yeah? So that's one part, and then we'll see how they will fight, and then how Hiranya Aksha is being delivered. Okay, so this will read it quickly. Yeah? If there is anything in the deck, we'll cover it. So, O sinless Vidura, all of a sudden, while Brahma was engaged in thinking, a small form of a boar came out of his nostril. The measurement of the creature was not more than the upper portion of the thumb. Okay, so that was the initial size. Yeah. And then, O descendant of Bharata, while Brahma was observing him, that boar became situated in the sky in a wonderful manifestation as gigantic as a great elephant. Yeah. So this is how Varadev is. So this is how these. If you see, these are the tusks on which the Mother Earth was actually lifted. Yeah. Struck with wonder at observing the wonderful boar-like form in the sky, Brahma with great Brahmanas like Marichi as well as the Kumaras and Manu began to argue in various ways. So he lifts and then he'll put it in the orbit. Is this some extraordinary entity came in pretense of a boar? It is very wonderful that he has come from my nose. So that's what Lord Brahma actually uh, is. So whatever we discussed, right, it is in the form of the decks. Yeah. First of all, this boar was seen no bigger than the tip of a thumb, and within a moment he was as large as a stone. My mind is perturbed. Is he the supreme personality of Godhead Vishnu? Is being asked. Okay. While Brahma was deliberating his sons, the supreme personality of Godhead Vishnu roared tumultuously like a great mountain. Yeah. So he was roaring. Yeah. So the omnipotent supreme personality of Godhead enlivened Brahma and the other highly elevated Brahmanas by again roaring with his uncommon voice, which echoed in all directions. When the great sages and thinkers who are residents of Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka heard the tumultuous voice of lover or boar, which was the all auspicious sound of all merciful Lord, they chanted auspicious chants from the Vedas. So this is what has happened. Yeah. Playing like an elephant, he entered into the water after roaring again in reply to the Vedic prayers by the great devotees. The Lord is subject of the Vedic prayers, and thus he understood that the devotees' prayers are meant for him. Yeah. Before entering the water to rescue the earth, Lord Boar flew in the sky, slashing his tail, his hard hair quivering. His very glance was luminous, and he scattered the clouds in the sky with his hooves and the glittering white tusks. So, and the other thing is, when the Lord lifted this earth, right, he was in the color of white. Okay, so that boar incarnation was the white one. Okay, so then what happens is, so when he was killing Hiranyaksha, right? So when Hiranyaksha actually challenged him for a fight, right? Then his color changes to red, yeah, and then he goes and then he fights with Hiranyaksha. Okay, so that is that fighting, right? So as Hiranyaksha challenged, so both will have a maze and then they'll fight in. Okay, so you'll see how say both of them, right? The fighting is also described very nicely in Bhagavatam, right? One actually gives tries to hit on the chest, the other uh, reciprocates. They have punches, fists, everything, right? So it is being described how the events and the things move on, and then at one stage, right? So both actually are fight on an equal terms, okay, and then the devatas, so with all blood and everything coming out right from the bodies, the devatas and Brahma actually get disturbed, saying that what is going to happen, yeah. And then so Lord Brahma actually will pray to Lord Vishnu, saying that so he has this demon has created a lot of fuss, and then he has created a lot of instability, and then he needs death penalty. Yeah. So, and then he says that the time is also passing by, so we should actually you should actually kill him. Yeah. And then the Lord actually gets pleased with Brahma's prayers, and then he actually kills Lord Hiranyaksha. Sorry, the demon Hiranyaksha has been killed by the Lord. Yeah. So that is how Hiranyaksha is being killed, and then the Mother Earth is put again into the proper place. Yeah. So, and then we know, right? So whenever there are disturbances, right? So whenever there is disturbances in the universe, right? So whenever the demonic culture increases, right? The Lord actually comes for the rescue, right? And then in this case also, so he comes, he actually rescues, right? So again, he establishes dharma, right? So the whole and sole purpose of the Lord incarnating is nothing but to establish dharma, right? Again, he rebalanced everything. Yeah. So that is actually the story of Lord Varaha. Yeah. So we'll just see through the decks. If there is anything which we have missed, we'll just cover it. Yeah. Yeah, you see, so this is the place where the Lord penetrated the water with his hooves, which were like sharp arrows, and found the limits of the ocean, although it was unlimited. Yeah. So this is, yeah, here he says, the anger glowing, the Sudarshana veil, he immediately killed Hiranyaksha, although he tried to fight with the Lord. So though he was trying to fight, so Lord wanted to fight with him for some time, right? So he wanted to have that fun with of fighting, right? So that's the reason he had, and then he was actually killed. Yeah. So the sage is praising the glory. So this is something which we'll read. All the sages uttered with great respect, O unconquerable enjoyer of all sacrifices, all glories and all victories unto you. You are moving in your form of personified Vedas, and in the hair holes of your body the ocean are submerged. For certain reasons to uplift the earth, you have now assumed the form of a boar. So this is how they are glorifying the Lord. Yeah. So, oh Lord, your tongue is pallid. So now they are actually describing the Lord. So because the Lord is known as Yogeshwar, right? So all the yajnas which we do in, right, it is for the Lord, right? So that is being told, oh Lord, your tongue is a plate of sacrifice, your nostril is another plate of sacrifice, in your belly is the eating plate of sacrifice, and another plate of sacrifice is the holes of ears. So these are all nothing but the sacrifice, yagna purusha, right? So in Bhagavad Gita we have read that, right? Bhoktaram yagna tapasam, right? Sarvaloko maheshwaram. And then this is about the desires and all, right? So this is all the discussion about the Lord. Moreover, O Lord, the reputation of your appearance is the desire of all kinds of initiation. Your neck is the place for three desires. Your tusks are the result of initiation and the end of all desires. Your tongue is the prior activities of initiation. Your head is the fire without sacrifice as well as the fire of worship. Yeah. So these are all the importance of yajna. Right? Oh Lord, your semen is the sacrifice called Soma Yajna. Your growth is the ritualistic performance of the morning. Your skin and touch sensation are the seven elements of the Agnistoma sacrifice. Your this is Agnistoma, sorry. Your bodily joints are symbols of various other sacrifices performed in 12 days. Therefore, you are the object of all sacrifices called Soma and Asoma, and you are bound by Yagnas only. So, this is what so they are actually glorifying the Lord as Yagna Purusha. Yeah? So, we actually had only a verse in Bhagavad Gita, right, saying that Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam, right? But in here, right, there are multiple verses, yeah? So which actually supplement so whatever we have in Bhagavad Gita, right? And then, oh Lord, you are the supreme personality of Godhead and are worshipable by various prayers, Vedic hymns, and sacrificial ingredients. We offer our obeisances unto you. You can be realized by the pure mind freed from all visible and invisible material contamination. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you as the supreme spiritual master of knowledge of in devotional service. Yeah. So this is all nothing but the glorification which is going of the Lord. Yeah. O lifter of the earth with its mountains, which you have lifted with your tusks, is situated as beautifully as a lotus flower with leaves sustained by an infuriated elephant just coming out of the water. Yeah. So this is all the comparisons and the glorifications which are done, right? So if anyone has any doubts that whether the Lord is the supreme personality of Godhead and all, right? So all these verses actually give us prove us, right? Saying that the Lord is the supreme personality of Godhead. We saw that about yajnas also. So how many descriptions we have, and about the Lord also, right? And then they are actually describing the tusks, everything, right? And then even it is mentioned that it is the when the earth was lifted on the tusks, right? It was like the moon with the dots, right? So it was so beautiful. So it's like both the Lord and the moon, right? So both complemented each other. So all these things are there in this. Yeah? So, oh Lord, as the peaks of great mountains became beautiful when decorated with clouds, your transcendental body has become beautiful because of your lifting the earth on the edge of your tusks. Yeah? So this is the place, so wherein the earth actually went down. Right? So anything which is there, right? These are all tala. Tala means down. Yeah? So if you look this particular Brahmanda, right? So it is in the form of an egg. And then this is nothing but spherical space. Yeah. From this, the earth got dropped into this Garbhodakya motion. Yeah? So which is nothing but below this Patala Loka. Yeah? Hence, the Lord had to actually take the form of a boar, right? And then they say that you have purified the drops of water sprinkled from your shoulders, hairs by shaking of your body. So when the Lord came out um, and then kept the earth in its planet, right? So the water which was sprinkled, right? So that actually purified, okay, the all the planetary systems, right? So Devis, Devatas, and all. Yeah, that's what they mention. Okay, the Lord, thus worshipped by all the great sages and transcendentalists, touched the earth with his hooves and placed it in the water. Yeah, I think we are mostly done. Nothing remains unachieved when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with someone. By transcendental achievement, one understands everything else to be insignificant. Okay. So, if one understands this, right? So, by transcendental knowledge, so if we should not look from the material angle, yeah. So, from it should be actually looked at from the transcendental platform, because all these incarnations, right, are transcendental. Yeah. So we can't visualize things with our vision, right? So what is our vision? Right? If there is no sunlight, we can't see. So live about we commenting about the pastimes of the Lord or anything, right? So there are few who do not believe in all these things, but and with the materialistic knowledge and the vision which we have, right? So we can't actually have the information of everything. Only thing is we'll have to listen from the authorities. Yeah. So with that, we'll actually close today's class. If anyone has any doubts, then we can discuss, or anything you want to add, can add. Any reflections you have? Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Mataji.
Is it Svet Varaha or this Varaha who
Yeah,
married
Svetavara,
Bhudevi?
Svetavara is the one which carried the Bhudevi Mataji, the white
Okay.
incarnation. And
And
then the
Narakasura is his son, no?
Bhumaswara.
Yeah, okay.
So that story, story I didn't add in because yeah, so that's for some other day we'll discuss that. Yeah, with in the transition, right? So when he had touched Mother Earth and then he was lifting in, right? In that they had son Bhumaswara, yeah. So who was a demon uh, due to his sangha, right? So yeah. Okay. Anything else, Prabhuji's Matalis? Okay. If not, then we'll wind up for today. Thank you for your association and active participation. Vanchakalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.